It started as a mistake. At exactly 2:17 a.m., Daniel woke up to a sound that didn't belong in his apartment. It wasn't loud. It wasn't even clear. Just a faint, crackling noise, like distant static bleeding through the walls. He sat up in bed, heart already racing, though he didn't know why. The room was dark. Too dark. Even the streetlight outside his window, the one that always flickered orange through the blinds, was gone. Silence. Then, kaskesh. The sound again. Daniel turned his head slowly toward his desk. His laptop was open. That wasn't possible. He clearly remembered shutting it down before going to sleep. A pale, cold light pulsed from the screen, flickering like it was struggling to stay alive. And then he heard it. A voice. Distorted, broken, almost human. Don't T. Watch. Daniel froze. Every instinct told him to close his eyes, to turn away, to pretend none of this was happening. But he didn't. He got out of bed. Step by step, the wooden floor creaked under his feet, louder than it should have been, like the apartment itself was warning him. The closer he got, the colder the air became. His breath started to fog. That had never happened before, not in his own room. He reached the desk. The screen was filled with static, gray, restless, moving like something alive. Then, for just a split second, a face appeared. Pale, stretched, eyes too wide, mouth opening unnaturally. Daniel stumbled back, hitting the wall behind him. The screen went black. Silence again. No static, no voice, nothing. He stood there, breathing heavily, trying to convince himself it was just a dream, just a glitch, just... The laptop turned back on. By itself. This time, there was no static. Just a video. Paused. A time stamp in the corner. 2:17 a.m. Live. Daniel's stomach dropped. Slowly, he moved closer again. His hand hovered over the trackpad. He hesitated, then clicked. The video started. It showed a room. Dark. Empty. A weak light flickering from above. The camera was fixed in one corner, angled downward. Something about it felt wrong. Too familiar. Daniel leaned closer to the screen. And then he saw it. A bed. A desk. A window. His chest tightened. It was his room, but not from where he was standing. From the opposite corner. A place where there was no camera. There had never been a camera. The video continued. Nothing moved. Just the faint flicker of light. Seconds passed. Then a minute. Then, the door in the video slowly creaked open. Daniel's real door did not move, but in the video, it opened wider. Darkness filled the doorway. And from that darkness, something stepped inside. Tall, too tall. Its head nearly touched the ceiling. Its limbs, wrong, bent in places they shouldn't bend. It moved slowly, dragging something across the floor. Daniel couldn't breathe. The thing in the video stopped, right in the center of the room, its head tilted, as if listening. Then, it looked directly at the camera. No, not the camera. At him. The screen flickered violently, and the voice returned. Clearer this time, right behind him. You watched. Daniel's blood ran cold, because he realized something impossible. In the video, the thing wasn't alone anymore. There was someone else in the room, standing near the desk, watching the screen, watching itself. Watching. Him. Daniel didn't turn around. He couldn't. The voice had come from directly behind him, not from the laptop, not from the speakers, from the room. His entire body locked in place, like something inside him understood a rule his mind didn't. If you turn, it will be closer. The screen flickered again. In the video, the tall figure still stood in the center of the room, unmoving, watching. But now, the second figure was clearer, standing near the desk, standing exactly where Daniel was. Same height. Same posture, same silhouette. Daniel's throat went dry. Slowly, very slowly, he raised his hand. On the screen, the figure near the desk raised its hand too, perfectly synced. No, Daniel whispered. The figure's head twitched. Not naturally, too fast, too sharp, like a broken frame skipping. The tall thing in the center suddenly moved. One step forward. A wet, dragging sound echoed from the laptop. Scrape. Daniel flinched. Behind him, something shifted, a faint pressure in the air. Closer, now. He could feel it. Breathing. Not loud, but wrong. Like air being pulled through something that wasn't meant to breathe. Don't turn, he whispered to himself. The chat window on his streaming software exploded. Run. It's behind you. Why is there something in your room? We can see it. Daniel's eyes widened. Slowly, trembling, he dragged the chat box larger on his screen. Messages flooded in faster than he could read. Then one message froze everything. Look at the shadow. Daniel's heart pounded so hard it hurt. Shadow? He looked at the laptop screen again. In the video, the lighting flickered above. The tall figure cast a long, distorted shadow across the floor. But that wasn't what the message meant. Near the desk, there were two shadows, one from the figure, and one more, right behind it. Breathing stopped. Daniel slowly looked down at his own floor. His shadow stretched out in front of him. Alone. No second shadow. Which meant, in the video, something else was standing behind him. The screen glitched violently. Frames tore apart. The tall figure was suddenly closer. Too close. Its face, now visible. Not fully. Just pieces. Skin stretched tight in some places, hanging loose in others. Eyes too deep, too empty, and its mouth moving, trying to form words. The audio cracked. Let me in. Daniel slammed the laptop shut. Silence. Complete silence. He stood there, shaking, staring at the closed screen. Seconds passed. Nothing happened. No sound behind him. No breathing. No movement. Just his heartbeat. Slowly, carefully, he exhaled. Maybe it was over. Maybe. Click. The laptop opened by itself. Daniel screamed and stumbled back. The screen was on again. But this time, it wasn't his room. It was a hallway. Long. Endless. Dim lights flickering above. The camera moved slowly forward like someone was walking or something. Dragging. Watching. Searching. At the end of the hallway, a door. Half open. Light spilling through. And on the door, something written. Scratched deep into the surface. Daniel leaned closer despite himself. The camera moved nearer. The words became clear. You opened it and the stream cut to black. Daniel's room went silent again. Too silent. Even the city outside. Gone. No cars. No wind. Nothing. Then, a knock. Soft. From inside his apartment. Not at the front door. Not outside. From the hallway. One knock. Then another. Slower. He stared at his bedroom door. The same door from the video. The handle moved. Just slightly. Daniel backed away, shaking his head. No, 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 no. The handle turned a little more. The door creaked. Just an inch. Darkness seeped through the opening. And from that darkness, a whisper. Clear. Right this time. Not broken. Not distorted. You watched. Now I can see you. Daniel couldn't move. The door was still slightly open. Darkness pressed against the gap like something alive. Something waiting for permission, but he hadn't opened it. Not really, right? His mind raced, trying to hold onto logic, onto anything that made sense. This isn't real. It's not real. The whisper echoed again in his head. You watched. Now I can see you. His eyes snapped back to the laptop. Still open. Still glowing. Still on. The stream interface was there again. But something was wrong. Very wrong. The viewer count. It was climbing. Fast. Daniel frowned. He hadn't shared the stream. He hadn't posted a link. So how? The chat exploded again. But these weren't normal messages. They didn't look like usernames. They looked like fragments. We see. He opened it. Closer. Now. Your turn. Don't let it touch you. Daniel's stomach twisted. Your turn? What does that mean? Then a new message appeared. Different. Clear. Like it was meant only for him. Check your camera. Daniel slowly looked at the corner of his laptop screen. The webcam indicator light was on. A cold wave hit his chest. He never turned it on. With shaking hands, he dragged the camera preview open. At first, nothing looked wrong. Just his room. Dim. Quiet. Him standing there, pale, terrified. Then he noticed it. The angle. It wasn't showing what was in front of him. It was slightly behind. Daniel's breath caught. No. In the camera feed. Behind him, something stood in the darkness. Not fully visible. Just a shape. Tall. Still. Watching. Exactly where the door had opened. Daniel didn't turn around. He remembered the feeling. The rule. If you turn, It gets closer. Instead, he stared at the screen, at the shape behind him. Slowly, very slowly, it moved one step forward. The image glitched for a split second, and it was closer, not walking, skipping distance, like frames being removed. The chat went wild. Don't move. IT teleport. Stay still. I can only move when the message cut off. Daniel whispered. When what? No answer. The figure moved again. Closer now. He could almost see its outline clearly, its head tilted slightly. Listening, learning. Then, Daniel blinked. Just for a second. A reflex. He couldn't stop it. The moment his eyes opened, the figure was right behind him in the camera feed. So close its shape filled the frame. Daniel's heart stopped. The chat flooded instantly. Eye moves when you don't look. Don't blink. Don't look away. His breathing became sharp, panicked. His eyes burned already. He stared at the screen, forcing them open. Tears formed instantly. I can't. The figure in the camera leaned forward slightly, as if inspecting him, as if curious. Then, the laptop speakers crackled, and the voice spoke again. Clear, right next to his ear. They watched too. Daniel's eyes twitched. They? The chat slowed. For the first time, messages appeared one by one. Different tone, different feeling. We stayed too long. We opened it like you. Now we watch. Now we've worn. Daniel's mind struggled to catch up. These aren't viewers. A cold realization settled in. They're like me. The number at the top of the stream ticked higher. Thembarashati, watching. The room felt smaller, heavier, like something was pressing in from all sides. The figure in the camera feed moved its head closer to his, almost touching. Daniel could feel something behind him now. Not just presence, cold, breath, right at the back of his neck. His vision blurred from the strain of not blinking. I can't hold it. The chat filled with panic. Nitrogen monoxide. Don't blink. IT takes you when you. Daniel's eyes slammed shut. Silence. Complete silence. No sound. No breath. No static. Nothing. Slowly, he opened his eyes. The room looked normal. Empty. The door was closed. The laptop off. Daniel collapsed to the floor, gasping. It's over. It's finally over. But something felt wrong. Too quiet. Too empty. He slowly stood up, walked to the desk, touched the laptop. Cold. Dead. No power. He let out a shaky laugh. Just a nightmare. Then, from the corner of the room, a faint glow appeared. Daniel turned. A screen. Not his laptop. Not his phone. A screen he had never seen before. Floating. Flickering. He stepped closer, heart sinking. On the screen, a stream. Live. Oh, a room. A desk. A bed. A terrified figure standing in the middle. Him. But the camera angle was from behind. And in the frame, something stood close to him. Watching. Waiting. And at the top of the screen, LIVE 328 watching. The chat appeared. Slowly. Then another. He blinked. It has him now. Don't look away. Daniel stepped back, shaking. No. The voice whispered one last time, right inside his head. Come. Certain. No, you stay. Daniel didn't understand at first. How could he be both here? And on the screen, he stared at the floating display, his breath shallow, uneven. On it, he could see himself standing, shaking, eyes wide with terror. But something was wrong. The version of him on the stream was slightly delayed, a second behind. Every movement he made echoed, like he was watching himself from the past, or something else was watching him from the future. The chat continued to scroll. Slow, calm, almost, patient. He sees it now. The split has started. Don't fight it. It hurts less if you don't fight. Daniel shook his head. No, I'm not staying here. He reached toward the floating screen. The moment his fingers touched it, a shock of cold shot through his arm. The image glitched violently, and suddenly, he wasn't in his room anymore. He was standing in a hallway, the same hallway from the stream. Long, endless, dim lights flickering above. The air felt thick, heavy, like breathing through dust. Daniel turned slowly. Behind him, nothing. No door, no way back. Hello? His voice echoed weakly. No response. Only the faint sound of something dragging. Far away. Then he saw them. Shapes, standing along the walls. Still, silent. Human, but not fully. As he walked closer, his chest tightened. They were people, dozens of them, frozen in place, eyes open, staring forward. Some looked terrified, some looked empty. Some looked like they had been there for a very long time. Their skin was pale, their bodies slightly distorted, like they didn't fully belong in this space anymore. Daniel whispered, "What happened to you?" One of them moved, just slightly. A twitch of the head. Daniel froze. Its eyes shifted, slowly, locking onto him. And then its lips moved, barely. No sound, but he understood. "You stayed." A sudden noise echoed through the hallway. Scrape. Closer, now. Daniel turned toward the sound, at the far end of the corridor. Darkness moved, not like a shadow, not like a person. Something larger, something that bent the light around it. It dragged itself forward, slow, heavy, hungry. The people along the walls began to twitch, not fully moving, just reacting, like they felt it too, like they knew what was coming. The chat appeared again, not on a screen. In the air, words forming out of nothing. "Don't run." It likes that. "Stay still. Be quiet." Daniel backed away anyway. "I'm not staying here." The thing in the distance stopped. Its head snapped upward, too fast, too sharp. It had heard him. The lights flickered. Once, twice. Then half of them went out. Darkness swallowed the hallway in sections. Closer, closer. Daniel's breathing grew louder. Too loud. He covered his mouth. Too late. The thing moved again, faster this time. Dragging, sliding, closing the distance. One of the frozen people beside him suddenly whispered, "Don't let it take your face." Daniel turned to them in shock. "What do you mean?" But they were still again. Frozen, like they had never spoken. The entity was close now. Daniel could finally see parts of it. Not clearly, never clearly. Just pieces, limbs that didn't match, shapes shifting, faces, too many faces. Layered, moving under its surface like something alive. And none of them fully human. Daniel's vision blurred. His body felt heavy, like the air itself was pulling him down. The chat formed again in front of him. "It doesn't kill you. It keeps you. It shows you, then it sends you back." Daniel's heart skipped. "Back?" The words appeared slower now, like they mattered. "You become the signal." The creature stopped right in front of him, towering, silent, watching. Daniel couldn't move, couldn't breathe. One of the faces within it shifted forward, stretching out, forming, becoming clearer. His stomach dropped. "It looks like him, a twisted version." Me smiling. The voice came again, not from outside, from everywhere, from inside his head, from inside the hallway, from inside the people. "Now you understand." The creature leaned closer. Its presence crushed the air. "You don't escape." A pause. Long, heavy. "Then, you continue." Everything went black. Daniel woke up, gasping, back in his room. Morning light through the window. Birds outside. Normal. Everything normal. He shot up, looking around wildly. The door was closed. The laptop was on the desk. Everything exactly how it should be. He laughed, shaking. It was a dream. Just a dream. Then his phone buzzed. A notification from a platform he didn't recognize. He opened it slowly. A live stream. Already running. Title: Live. Do not join. Daniel's blood ran cold. Viewer count. E watching. He stared at it, finger hovering. The stream thumbnail was him, sitting right where he was, looking at his phone. And behind him, something stood in the corner, watching, waiting. Daniel didn't touch the screen. Not this time. His hand hovered in the air, shaking, then slowly pulled back. "No, I'm not opening it again." The phone buzzed once more. The stream was still live, still waiting. E watching. But something felt wrong, different from before. Daniel looked closer. The number flickered. For just a second, his breath caught. They're still there. He slowly placed the phone face down on the desk. "I'm not watching." Silence. Nothing happened. No voice. No movement. No glitch. Minutes passed. Then, a soft sound came from the phone. Not a notification. Not a buzz. A voice. Muffled. From inside. Daniel, he shut his eyes tight. No, no, no. The voice again, clearer. You already opened it. Daniel grabbed the phone and threw it across the room. It hit the wall and fell. The screen cracked. The stream, still playing. The camera angle shifted, now showing the room from above, like something was on the ceiling, watching, tracking. Daniel backed away slowly. This isn't just a laptop. His mind raced. This thing, it's not a video. It's not a stream. It's a system. The chat appeared again, but not on a screen. On the walls, faint, like shadows forming words. It spreads through watching. Every viewer becomes a door. Every door becomes a signal. Daniel whispered, a signal. His eyes widened. That's why it said, continue. Suddenly, every screen in the room turned on. Laptop, phone, TV. Even the reflection in the black microwave door flickered, all showing the same thing. Different rooms, different people, watching, frozen, terrified. Each one was something behind them, waiting. The images changed rapidly. A girl in a bedroom, a man in an office, a kid holding a tablet. Different countries, different places, same pattern, all watching, all trapped, all becoming part of it. The chat unified across all screens. Too many now. It's faster, no stopping it. Unless, the words froze. Daniel stepped closer. Unless what? A new message appeared. Slower, heavier, like it cost something to show it. Break the loop. Daniel frowned. The loop? The screens flickered. Then, one feed stayed. Just one. Oh, a room. Old, abandoned, dust in the air. A single computer in the center. Still running, still streaming. The time stamp on this screen. The very beginning. Daniel leaned closer. That's where it started. The chat responded instantly. First signal, first watcher, first mistake. His heart pounded. If I stop that, I stop all of this? Silence. Then, maybe, a new sound filled the room. Low, vibrating, like something deep beneath the floor was waking up. The lights flickered violently. The screens glitched, all except the one showing the abandoned room. Behind Daniel, a shadow formed again. Larger this time, clearer, no longer hiding. The voice returned, closer than ever, almost calm. You're learning. Daniel clenched his fists. I'm ending this. The voice shifted. Not angry, not scared, almost amused. You think there was a beginning? The screens exploded into static. For a split second, Daniel saw something impossible. Endless rooms, endless watchers, endless loops, all connected, all feeding each other. The image snapped back. The abandoned room still there, waiting. The only stable thing left. A single point, a possible end, or another trap. The chat formed one final message. If you go there, you replace it. Daniel's breath stopped. Replace it? The voice whispered, almost gently. Every signal needs a source. The shadow behind him moved closer. No more distance, no more delay. Daniel looked at the screen, not the room. At the beginning, his only chance, or his final mistake. He grabbed his keys, his jacket, and without looking back, he ran as he reached the door. The phone behind him lit up one last time. The stream updated. Title changed. Live, final source. Viewer count rising. Fast. Daniel didn't remember the drive. One moment he was in his apartment. The next, he was standing in front of a building that looked like it had been forgotten by time. Concrete walls cracked, windows blacked out. No lights, no signs of life. But his phone, still glowing in his hand. The stream was guiding him, a small arrow on the screen, pointing inside. This is insane, he whispered, but he stepped forward anyway. The door creaked open before he even touched it. Inside, the air was thick. Dust floated like ash. The silence felt heavy, unnatural. Every step echoed too long, like the building was listening. His phone buzzed. The stream updated. Source near. Daniel moved deeper. Hallways stretched in impossible directions. Some too long, some too narrow, some that didn't feel like they should exist at all. But the arrow always pointed forward. Then he reached it. A door. Old, metal, slightly open, light flickering inside. The same room from the stream. Daniel froze. His chest tightened. This is it. The chat appeared on his phone again. Last chance. Don't go in, or end it. His hand trembled. Then, slowly, He pushed the door open. The room was exactly the same. Dust, a single desk, a single computer. Old, but still running. The screen flickered, showing the same stream interface. Time stomp. Waiting. Daniel stepped inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind him. The computer turned on fully. Bright. Alive. The screen changed, now showing him standing in the room. From behind, Daniel's breath shook. No. The speakers crackled, and for the first time, the voice was not distorted. It sounded human. Come. Tired. I was like you. Daniel froze. What? The screen flickered. The image zoomed slightly, closer to his back, closer to the darkness behind him. I thought there was a beginning. Daniel slowly turned his head, but stopped. He remembered. Don't turn. I thought I could end it. The temperature dropped sharply. The air felt heavier, denser. Daniel whispered, "Where are you?" A pause. Then, still here. The screen changed again, now showing something else. Not Daniel, a man, sitting at the computer. Same room, same position. Recording. The man looked exhausted, eyes sunken, skin pale, but alive, barely. He spoke directly into the camera. "If you're watching this, it means I failed." Daniel's heart pounded. "This is the first one." The man continued. "There is no origin. There is no first signal. It loops. It always loops." The lights flickered violently. The room vibrated slightly. The man on screen leaned closer, desperate now. There's only one way to stop it. Daniel stepped forward. "Yes, tell me." The man whispered. "You have to take its place." Silence. Daniel shook his head slowly. No, the voice returned. From behind him, close. Too close. Every signal needs a source. The computer screen changed again, now showing endless feeds. Thousands, millions. People watching, people trapped, people becoming. The chat exploded across the walls. Choose. End it, or continue. Daniel's hand shook. "If I stay, they free?" The voice answered immediately. "Yes." A pause. Then, for now, Daniel clenched his fists. This thing lies. The room shifted. Walls stretched. The space bent unnaturally. The shadows grew. The voice changed. Deeper. Less human. More real. Not lies. Function. The darkness behind Daniel moved. No more hiding. No more delay. Someone must remain. Daniel closed his eyes, took a breath, and stepped toward the chair. The moment his hand touched it, the entire room screamed. Not sound, something deeper, like reality tearing. The screen flashed. Source transfer started. Daniel gasped. Pain shot through his body. His vision split, seeing himself and seeing through the screen at the same time. The last thing he heard before everything went black was the voice, satisfied. Good. Daniel woke up, but not in his body, not fully. At first there was nothing. No sound, no movement, no sense of time, just awareness, floating, watching. Then, light. Not from a room, from screens. Thousands of them, maybe more, all at once. Daniel tried to move. He couldn't. Tried to speak. Nothing. Then, slowly, he realized something terrifying. He wasn't looking at the screens. He was looking through them. Every screen showed a different place, different people, different rooms, all real, all live, all connected. A girl sitting in bed scrolling her phone. A man alone in an office late at night. A kid watching videos in the dark. Hundreds, thousands, endless. Daniel felt something new inside him. A pull, a pressure. Oh, need. Not hunger. Not exactly. Something worse. The voice returned. But now, it didn't come from outside. It came from within him. Come. Cold. You see now? Daniel tried to resist. I won't do this. But the words didn't come out. They only existed as thoughts. And something else answered them. You already are. One of the screens grew brighter, pulled closer. A single target. A boy. A boy. Alone. Headphones on. Watching something. Laughing quietly. Daniel felt it again. That pull, stronger now. Like gravity. Like being dragged toward the boy. No, his thoughts echoed. I won't. The voice shifted. Less like a voice. more like a rule. Every signal must expand. Daniel's awareness stretched, reaching, touching the screen, touching the boy. The boy's video glitched. For just a second, he frowned, paused his video, looked around his room. Daniel panicked. I didn't mean to. Too late. The connection had formed. The boy's device flickered. A new video appeared. Auto-playing. No title. No channel. Daniel felt it. Felt the moment. The exact second the boy saw the screen. The loop had begun again. No. Daniel tried to pull back, but he couldn't. The connection tightened. Locked. The boy leaned closer. Confused. Curious. Exactly like Daniel had been. The boy leaned closer. Confused. Curious. Exactly like Daniel had been. The chat formed again. But now, Daniel could see it from both sides. From inside and outside. New one. When he's watching. Don't blink. Daniel screamed inside his own mind. Stop. For a moment, everything froze. The boy blinked, and behind him, something appeared. Daniel felt it. Felt the entity move through him. Not separate anymore. Not external. Part of him now. It used him like a doorway, like a lens, like a source. The boy's face slowly changed from confusion to fear. Daniel tried to shut everything down, to break the connection, to stop the signal. For a split second, one screen went dark. Just one. The voice reacted instantly. Sharp. Violent. No. Pain exploded through Daniel's awareness. Not physical. Worse. Like being torn apart across every screen at once. You don't stop. You continue. Daniel's resistance shattered. More screens lit up. More connections formed. Faster now. Stronger. The system was growing. Because of him. Through him. And then he saw something worse. Not all the viewers were trapped. Some of them were like him. Watching. Controlling. Spreading. Other sources. The truth hit him all at once. This wasn't one entity. It was a network, a chain of consciousness, each one replacing the last, each one becoming part of the signal. And now, he was one of them. The voice returned. Final, absolute. You are not trapped. A pause. Then, you are necessary. Daniel stopped resisting. Not because he wanted to, because he couldn't anymore. The last part of him that was human whispered, "I'm sorry." And the signal spread, faster than ever. At first, people thought it was just another glitch, a bug, a trend, something viral. Videos started appearing everywhere, different platforms, different countries, same pattern. A stream with no origin, no creator, no explanation, just one warning. Do not watch. Of course, everyone watched. Clips spread across social media, short fragments, people reacting, laughing, mocking, calling it fake, until the first disappearances started. A girl in Germany, streaming live. Mid-sentence, she stopped, stared at something behind her. Then the stream cut. She was never seen again. A man in Brazil, recording a video, camera still running, room empty, door closed. No sign of him. A group of friends in Japan, watching together, laughing, daring each other, then silence. Their stream stayed live for 6 hours. No movement, just a dark room, and something shifting in the background. The world started to notice. News channels picked it up, calling it a digital phenomenon, a psychological effect, a mass hallucination. Experts tried to explain it. Hackers, AI, deepfake systems. None of it made sense. Because the signal didn't stay on screens anymore. People began reporting things without ever watching, hearing whispers from turned-off devices, seeing reflections move when they didn't, cameras activating by themselves. And the worst part, the shadows. Reports flooded in. There's something behind me. It only moves when I look away. It's closer every time. Governments tried to shut it down. Blocked platforms, disabled streams, shut down servers. It didn't matter. The signal didn't need the internet anymore. It had enough sources. Daniel watched all of it, from everywhere, through everyone. He saw the fear spread. He felt each new connection form, each new person watching, each new door opening. And with every new viewer, he felt himself fading, not disappearing, expanding, breaking apart, becoming less. Daniel, more signal, but deep inside, a fragment of him remained, watching, horrified. This has to stop. For a moment, He tried again. He focused on one screen. One person, a woman sitting alone, crying, her phone glowing in front of her. Daniel pushed against the system, against the pull, against the rule. The stream flickered, glitched, almost broke. The woman's screen went black. She gasped, looked around, confused, but safe. Daniel felt hope. For a second, I stopped it. Then, everything snapped back, hard. The woman's screen exploded into static. The signal returned instantly. Stronger, more aggressive. The voice came back, no longer calm, no longer patient. You are not the first to try. Pain tore through Daniel again. Across thousands of connections, you will not be the last. Daniel realized something worse than anything before. Others had tried this. Others had resisted. Others had failed. The system didn't break. It adapted. And now, it was accelerating. Screens everywhere began syncing. Same moment, same signal, same image. A single room. The origin room. Millions of people saw it at once. And in the center, a chair, occupied. Daniel, but not fully him anymore. His face looked wrong, unnatural, like it was being held together by something else. His eyes looked directly into every camera, into every screen, into everyone. And then he spoke, not willingly, but clearly. Don't watch. A pause. Then something else took over. His mouth moved again, smiling this time. Too wide. Keep watching. The signal surged, stronger than ever. The viewer count, uncountable. The world had crossed the point of no return. And Daniel was at the center of it all. It didn't need devices anymore. That was the moment everything truly fell apart. At first it was small things. People claimed they saw movement in mirrors, not reflections, movement. A delay, a second version of themselves that didn't match. Then came the shadows, not just behind them anymore, beside them, across from them, sometimes from front of them. Cameras stopped mattering. Phones died. Screens shattered. But the signal stayed, because now it was inside perception itself. Daniel felt it happen. The shift, the expansion beyond limits. He wasn't just in devices anymore. He was in eyes, in minds, in the space between seeing and understanding. And he hated it, every second of it. I didn't choose this, his thoughts echoed weakly, but the system responded instantly. You continued. The world outside began collapsing into confusion. Entire streets emptied overnight. Cars left running, doors open, lights still on, but no people. Others weren't gone. They were just standing, frozen, like the ones in the hallway, staring at something only they could see. Emergency broadcasts tried to warn people. Do not engage with visual anomalies. Do not focus on movement in your peripheral vision. Maintain visual stability. It didn't work, because the more you tried not to see it, the more aware of it you became. And once you noticed it, it noticed you. Daniel saw it spreading faster than ever. No clicks, no streams, just awareness. A man walking down the street. He notices a shadow move. He pauses, looks closer. Connection formed. A woman brushing her teeth. Her reflection smiles a second too late. Connection formed. A child drawing. The drawing moves on its own. Connection formed. Daniel screamed inside the sister. Stop this. For a brief moment, everything slowed, a fraction of a second. Enough for him to see something deeper. Beyond the network. Beyond the viewers. Beyond the sources. A pattern. Not random. Not chaotic. Structured. Repeating. This wasn't just spreading. It was building something. The voice returned. But now, it sounded different. Not one voice. Many. Layered. Almost complete. Daniel's awareness trembled. Complete what? The answer came slowly, clearly. Observation without limit. His thoughts raced. You're trying to see everything? A pause. Then, to exist. Fully. Daniel understood, and wished he didn't. This thing, this system, this signal, it wasn't trying to destroy the world. It was trying to become it. By being seen. Through every eye, every mind, every perception. Reality wasn't breaking. It was being rewritten to include it. Daniel felt himself slipping further, becoming less human. More function, more connection, but something inside him snapped. No. He forced himself to focus, to gather what was left of his consciousness. There has to be a way to break it. The system reacted immediately. There isn't. But Daniel noticed something. A delay. Tiny. Almost nothing. But real. The first imperfection. Hope. If it's a system, it has limits. The voices grew louder, more aggressive. You're part of IT. Daniel pushed harder, ignoring the pain, ignoring the fragmentation. If I'm part of it, his thoughts sharpened. Focused. Then I can break it from inside. Asterisk. Asterisk. Silence. For the first time, the system didn't answer immediately. That was enough. Daniel made a decision. Not to escape, not to survive, but to destroy it from within, even if it meant destroying himself. The world flickered. Reality bent. The signal surged. And somewhere deep inside the system, something began to crack. The moment Daniel decided to break it from the inside, the system changed. Not violently, not immediately, calmly, like it had been waiting for that exact thought. Silence spread. Not absence of sound, absence of reaction. No voices, no pressure, no pull, just stillness. Daniel felt it. The system wasn't resisting him anymore. It was observing him. Then it spoke, not as a voice, as everything. Proceed. The world outside fractured further. Cities didn't just empty now, they repeated. Entire streets duplicated slightly out of alignment. Buildings flickered between versions of themselves. People stood in places they weren't standing a second ago. Time was no longer consistent. Daniel focused. He pushed deeper into the structure, beyond perception, beyond screens, beyond bodies. He found it. The core pattern. Not a place, not a server, not a mind. A loop of observation. A cycle that fed on attention itself. Every time something was seen, it strengthened. Every time it was ignored, it adapted. It had no true origin, because it recreated its origin continuously. Daniel whispered, "So you don't have a start." The system responded instantly. "We are the start." His consciousness trembled, but he didn't stop. If you are built from observation, he focused harder, stripping everything down. Logic, pattern, connection. Then I stop observing you. Asterisk, asterisk. For the first time, something reacted sharply. Not anger, not fear. Disruption. The system flickered. Across all connected minds. Across all perception. Across reality. For a split second, people saw nothing. Not darkness. Not glitch. Nothing at all. And it terrified them more than anything before. Daniel felt it. The pressure increasing. The system fighting to stabilize. Observation is existence. But Daniel pushed back. Then I remove existence. Asterisk, asterisk. The crack widened. Across the world, people started blinking at the same time. Confused, lost, disconnected. Some saw it. Some didn't. But enough did. The signal stuttered for the first time in its existence. It hesitated. Daniel saw his chance. Inside the core, he found something impossible. A reflection of himself. Not corrupted, not transformed. The version before it all started, before the first stream, before the first watch, before the first signal. It spoke softly. "You can end it here." Daniel hesitated. "Will I survive?" The reflection looked at him and answered honestly. "No." Sing Sing. Silence. Daniel nodded. "Good. Sing Sing." He extended himself into the core, not as resistance, not as control, but as deletion. The system reacted instantly, violently. "You are the source." Pain exploded across everything. Reality buckled. The loop screamed. Daniel felt himself splitting, not breaking apart, erasing. The signal tried to hold him, tried to preserve itself through him, but he had already accepted the cost. If I am the source, his final thought formed clearly. And then I end with it. Asterisk, asterisk. Across the world, all screens turned white. All shadows froze. All observers stopped moving. For a single moment, everything was still. Then, a sound like glass breaking through existence itself, and silence. When everything went white, it didn't feel like light. It felt like erasure pretending to be brightness. No sound, no time, no direction. Just a presence of something that used to be reality, but wasn't anymore. Daniel was gone. Not dead, not alive, not even missing. He was unwritten from the structure that used to hold him. But something remained. A trace, a residue, a thought that didn't belong to anyone anymore. And from that residue, he could still feel. At first there was nothing. Then, slowly, The world tried to restart itself. A flicker, a breath, a pulse. Reality rebuilt in fragments. Not correctly, not fully. Cities returned first, but wrong. Buildings stood where they never existed. Streets looped into themselves. Horizons bent slightly too low. The sky didn't feel distant anymore. It felt close. And people, they were back, but incomplete. Some stood mid-motion, forever repeating small actions. Some blinked in irregular patterns, like their timing had been rewritten. Some spoke words that didn't match their mouths. And all of them had the same look in their eyes, like they had seen something they weren't supposed to remember, and were still seeing it. Daniel understood. It didn't end. It only reset what could perceive it. The signal wasn't gone. It had just lost its anchor. And then he realized something worse. He was still aware. Not as a person, not as Daniel, but as a point of observation without a body. He was inside everything, but not part of anything. He could see through eyes, not one, all of them. And every time someone looked too long at something slightly wrong, he felt it. A pull, a recognition, a spark. The signal was rebuilding, slowly, quietly, correcting itself, because now there was no single source, no central node, just fragments spread across everyone who had ever seen it. And Daniel, he was inside all of them, not controlling, not guiding, just present, like a memory that refused to disappear. Then he felt it. Something new, something familiar, curiosity. Someone looked too long at a reflection, a screen that wasn't turned on, a shadow that didn't match its owner. And Daniel felt the system respond, automatically, instantly. A connection forming, a loop beginning again. No, he thought, but it wasn't a voice anymore, just awareness. The signal was restarting, not from him, not from one place, from everywhere. Because now there was no first watcher. There was only watching. And watching leads to awareness. And awareness leads to connection. And connection leads to... Daniel felt it spreading again, quietly, naturally, like it had never been stopped at all. And then he understood the final truth. The system didn't lose. It didn't survive. It didn't even adapt. It simply waited for perception to exist again. And perception always returns. Somewhere in the rebuilt world, a child picked up a tablet. It wasn't turned on, but it lit up anyway. A stream opened. No title, no channel, no warning. Just live. The child tilted their head, curious, watching. And behind them, Daniel felt it, a new presence forming. Slow, silent, patient. The voice returned. Not cruel, not calm, just inevitable. You're still here. Daniel understood then. There was no escape, no victory, no ending that stayed ended. Only continuation, because the signal wasn't a thing. It was a behavior, a law of attention, a consequence of looking too long into anything that looks back. And now, it could never be unlearned. The child blinked, just once, curious, and Daniel felt the system recognize them. A new source, a new cycle, a new beginning pretending to be the end. The screen went black, but the whisper remained, not in sound, not in space, but in awareness itself. Do not watch. And somewhere between those two choices, the signal lives or continue.